Attention A1 Trading Show fans. If you're looking to get funded, we've got a solution for you. Our partnered prop firm FX2 Funding helps traders get access to up to $200,000 in trading capital. FX2 Funding is not your average prop firm. We've chosen them as our partner because of their fair examination rules, their professional and available customer service, and they have an outstanding reputation in the prop firm space. Here's a quick look at their evaluation process. First, they don't have a time limit on their evaluations. That means that you can take your time when passing your evaluation. There's no pressure to rush your trading. Second, there is only one phase to pass in their evaluation before getting access to your funded account. Also, their evaluation fees are fairly priced and fully refundable upon passing. Once you're funded, you'll be able to keep up to 85% of your trading profits. Finally, a rule we know swing traders will love: you can hold your positions over the weekend. For a limited time, get 15% off any of their account challenges with promo code A1Trading15. That's 15% off any account challenge with code A1Trading15. If you're ready to get funded, we're dropping a link in the chat right now, and you can also find it in the description down below. So go ahead and get signed up today for 15% off with promo code A1Trading15. Now, back to the show.
All right. Hello, everybody. Welcome back to another week, a new week, and I'm happy to be back in the studio, joined by the wonderful substitute himself, James. How's it going, man? I like the haircut.
It's going good. It's going good, but it's good to have you back. I will give a quick shout out to Chandler, first of all, for last week's streams. He did all of the hard work planning and scheduling it, and he was just he was really awesome last week with really taking control of the live streams. But yeah, it's good to be back in the office. It's good to be back with you, and it's good to be back looking at another news week ahead of us.
Yeah, absolutely. And you got to give yourself some credit too, James. You did a great job just jumping on and helping to moderate with everything. I know it's not easy to kind of substitute host on the show, but you guys did an incredible job. I was watching some of it from the beach, so it was kind of cool. So back from vacation and back to the charts. James, what's on our radar here today? We've got probably not too much today, but what about this week? I know there's a couple big ones coming.
Couple of big ones coming, but overall a pretty slow week this week. But we will have some really important news later in the week. So Monday, not really anything to take a look at. Same with Tuesday, got a little bit of stuff here, but really nothing too important, nothing that we need to focus on. Wednesday, however, is when we get our first big news drop, and that's going to be the CPI number here in the United States at 8:30 a.m. Eastern time. That's Thursday, August 10th. Oh, excuse me. Sorry. Thursday, August 10th is when we're going to get our CPI number here in the U.S. And it's expected to, monthly is expected to remain the same at 0.2%. Yearly is expected to raise just a little bit up to 3.3%. And the reason that this is so important is because the Fed has, it was roughly 2 weeks ago that the Fed raised the inflation rates yet again. But many people believe that those rate hikes are starting to come to a pause, and we could potentially see rate cuts starting next year. Now, that's not to say that the Fed isn't going to raise rates anymore, but we believe that they are slowly coming to the end of this rate hike cycle. Now, this forecasted 3.3% inflation is interesting because what we've seen inflation do pretty much every single month for a long time now is that inflation continues to drop and drop and drop along with these rates that are being raised. So if inflation were to raise up to 3.3%, that would not be a very good thing for the inflation rate and for this rate hike cycle, and could potentially put pressure on the Fed to continue to raise rates even more. Although we have speculated that the rate hike cycle at some point in the near future might come to a pause, a halt there. So Thursday will be a really big one with that CPI event. Of course, we also have unemployment claims like we do every Thursday, so that'll be an interesting one as well. And then Friday, we also have PPI, so a little bit more inflation news. That'll give us just a really, really clear look at what's happening with the inflation rate here in the US. And we might potentially have a longer stream than normal on Friday, as we also have the preliminary consumer sentiment here happening at 10 a.m. on Friday as well.
Yep. So it does seem like a back half of this week should be pretty interesting. James, again, I want to thank you for taking over the show this past week, and thank you for the news here this morning. We can now jump into some charts, and we'll have to catch up with you later on.
Sure. Thank you.
All right. Yep. Big shout out and good to be back. Shout out to the team for taking on the show last week without me here. I did spend some time down at the beach. It was really nice, and I'm slightly more tan than I was, so that's kind of nice, but good to be back in the office. Anyways, I want to start out here today talking about the US dollar. We're looking at the dollar index, and dollar index continues to be relatively strong. As James made mention to, inflation this week is expected to tick up, and there's this next wave, this next battle that we have in front of us when it comes to the inflation concept. Now that we've started to get into the lower levels of inflation, we're still kind of far off from that 2% target, right? For those who are fundamentalists, you are familiar with the fact that the Federal Reserve targets 2% in terms of their inflation level. That's what they want to be going on. They don't want it to be much higher than that. And in order to get that number down, they have to take measures to do so. And so that's why we've seen rate hikes like crazy in the past year or two. And so the question will be, are they going to need to keep doing that process, or is there enough, downward pressure on inflation to keep it going? We're going to get some answers to that this week, and it will be very interesting to see. Now, let's talk about the dollar from a technical perspective. Price came back last week to a level of resistance that I thought would hold. It did not hold. Price came back to another level that I thought would hold. It did not hold either. Now, why am I pointing this out? Last week was a tough week for me in terms of trading. Even though I was on vacation, I'm a swing trader, so I still manage positions. And if I see something, I'll take the trade. So I had a couple trades last week that went really poorly on me. And so this week, I'm now kind of watching hesitantly about the dollar. Can this dollar actually start to see some breakdown? Can we start to see this return to kind of a downward trend? Right now, again, my levels of resistance seem to be kind of nullified for the time being. So when looking at the dollar, I'm very hesitant this week. However, let's talk about gold. What has gold been up to? Well, gold on the longer term, this is a daily chart level, guys. Daily chart sits right now at a longer term level of support. You have this upward trend. The question will be now, can we see a continuation of this move? And again, what would cause that? Well, probably some good inflation numbers, right? Cooling inflation or less than expected inflation here this upcoming Thursday will be a start, right? We'll have to watch that. Again, watching for breakouts. When we break it down to like the 1 hour chart now, guys, when I look at gold, what I'm looking for would be probably, let's actually just start fresh in the 1 hour here. Again, we know that longer term, we've hit a longer term level of support off of that trend line. The question for me now will be, is there actually going to be enough resistance here to break us out of this key resistance that we have looking left, right? So can we actually break out of this? Also, Stream guys, it looks like my mouse is not doing that weird thing anymore. And StreamYard, which is a streaming service that we use, may have fixed their problem with that. Fingers crossed. Hopefully I'm not speaking too soon. So for gold, guys, I'm looking for breakouts. I'm looking to see if we can get a break above resistance here this week. That would be probably a start for interest. And again, probably going to lean heavily on that. Inflation report. Normally I don't comment, but really happy you're back. Thank you for that. I'm glad to see all of you guys. A lot of welcome backs in the chat. I appreciate you guys a lot. I did miss you. Trust me, I missed you. As much as I could use a vacation, I could, I really needed a little bit of a break. You guys know this is what I love to do. This is not just a, it's beyond just an interest for me. It is a passion for me. Anyways, let's talk about the watch list here. Let's talk about some setups here. Okay. This week, we're going to be really active in the Discord channel. Let me just take a quick moment before I forget. If you guys are not already in the free Discord channel, come join us. We're going to drop a link in the chat here. This week is a busy, busy week. I mentioned we've got the inflation number coming out on Thursday. We've got PPI coming out on Friday. there's a lot to keep up to date with. If you guys would like to get notified directly to your phone with updates for free on setups, ideas, what myself and my team are looking at, Frank and I will be putting out content throughout this entire week. If you're not already inside of the Discord channel, please come join us. It is free to do so. Again, I'm sharing ideas and things that I'm looking out for, all sorts of good stuff. So if you're not already in here, it takes 2 seconds. Just fill out this form. This will let us know who you are so that we're not just adding random spammers and scammers. We've had problems in the past of, bots getting into our Discord server and trying to corrupt it and stuff. So we have this form you have to fill out this form. It will then allow you into the free Discord channel where you can keep up to date with ideas and things that we're looking out for. So make sure to join us there. And let's now talk a little bit about setups. I really like this Australian dollar setup, and I want to pull this up with you guys. I think there might be an opportunity, in my personal opinion. I might be looking to sell the Australian dollar against the US dollar here. Now, yes, that's kind of a bullish USD play, and I haven't done that in a while. But I think that, if I'm looking at the Australian dollar, and by the way, I absolutely love that on the streaming software, we're not getting that glitchy mouse thing anymore. You guys in the audience, how frustrating that was, right? Remember when I would kind of draw around and my thing would be jumping all over the place? I think it was the streaming software had a bug to it, but it does seem to be, fingers crossed, seems to be resolved. Also, like I said, Aussie dollar on a retracement this week. I marked this up in my Sunday video. If you saw my Sunday video yesterday, I really like this setup if we can get a little bit of a squeeze higher. So perhaps we get a strong, or let's say we get a high CPI print. Dollar bullishness could be really interesting. And so in that case, I'd be very interested in selling the Australian dollar specifically. Now, there's not many currencies that I'd like to buy. I'd like to sell against the US dollar. I'm not really a dollar bull, but the Australian dollar has a lot of bearishness to it. One of the big things here for me, guys, is that the smart money tracker, which tracks, of course, the commitment of traders data, this shows us what hedge funds and institutional money is doing. They're really short on the Australian dollar. They have a big short interest on the Aussie dollar. Now, the dollar is pretty 50-50. You can see in this case, this is the US dollar over here. When we compare USD to Aussie dollar, what this is showing us, guys, is percentage-wise, how many long contracts are there, how many short contracts are there, and giving us an idea as to what the smart money is essentially doing, okay? Smart money is pretty short on Aussie dollar and pretty mixed on US dollar. So if I'm going to pick one, I'm going to probably pick the dollar over the Australian dollar. And I do like that setup. I think technically, a technical analysis wise, I really like this retracement back to resistance. You can see that when we previously broke out of that area, we had huge conviction. Let's move in on these candlesticks and you can actually see what I'm talking about. Look at this commitment. So we came down to this support level, and you could have said at this point, you could have said, well, we're still at support, but this candle right here really seals the deal for me, right? Huge red candle following hitting support shows, okay, wow, sellers are in full control. You can see we had a very minor retracement before a continuation. My point with saying that is that if we do start to retrace back up into that zone of what was really strong support, now broken as resistance, I think the Australian dollar actually has some potential. So yeah, if you guys are enjoying the stream, do me a quick favor, take 2 seconds, hit that thumbs up button. I think we're at a very, very low level of likes on the stream. If you guys could do that for me, that would really help out, get the algorithm back on our side here. We've got, I think the stream is a little asleep still. So if you guys could help me out, hit that thumbs up button and let's get things rolling here. We'll talk more setups. Do me a quick favor, guys. Also comment as we are taking a look at some charts. If there's one that you would like me to look at, I'm happy to do so. Somebody said US 30 is going crazy here. That's awesome. I'm currently long the NASDAQ, which does not seem to be getting as much love as US 30. SPX 500 making a slight move up. Here's the Russell. I guess not really making much of a move at all. So indices here, I am actually bullish on the indices. However, this is my line in the sand. For those of you guys who trade indices like I do, I am bullish NASDAQ at support. Key support has been hit, and I want to see a reaction. And if I don't see that reaction, for me, I'm probably going to go ahead and stop out. I do have a position open. So let me show you guys my position. I've got a QQQ position. I've also got a silver position, as you just saw. So here's my my NASDAQ position. So it's down slightly here. If it does break through support here, like I said, I will stop out. I've got my stop order in place. I'd like to see a pretty big commitment pretty soon. And if I don't see that, I'm probably going to stop out of my NAS position. So that's where I'm at. I think we do have potential to make moves higher, to, you know, to retrace some of this, you know, or to continue this overall upward trend. I think if we get our, let's see, our parallel channels here, right? We've got this nice upward structure, but it needs to prove itself. If it doesn't prove itself soon, I'm probably going to move out of my trade. Okay. So that is where I am at personally right now with the NASDAQ. Like I said, last week was a tough trading week for me. I took a couple, losses on the NASDAQ. I attempted to buy here. That didn't work out. And so my second attempt is going on right now with the NASDAQ. If it doesn't shoot up pretty quick, like I said, my plan is to stop out below structure. So that's where I'm at. So first time on your stream, could you please tell me the format of your stream and timing? We usually stream major news events. And if not, if there's no major news events, we're usually on air at 9:30 a.m. US Eastern. I usually bring on a guest at some point. And we have producers who put together a show each day, so the timing can be different each time. Silver, yeah, let's take a look at silver. So I am actually long silver right now. I have a long position on silver that I was essentially granted through selling a put. I sold a put at a strike price of $22 per share on this silver ETF. This is essentially the same thing as silver. It's just an ETF that tracks it. So I do have a silver position right now. And I am actually willing to potentially add to that position. Silver for me is something that I don't mind having a little bit in the portfolio for the longer term. And that's why I sell options on silver. So I sell puts. I'll probably be selling another put here inside of the Discord. I do share my you know, my options trading as well. So I'll be keeping an eye on that one. Let's take a look. So I do like gold and silver, again, long right now, generally speaking. But for the lower time frames, I mentioned this earlier, what I'm watching for on gold would be some sort of a breakout from last week's structure highs, right? This was a big selling barrier, right? So I'd like to see that level breakout. So that's where I'm at. All right, so let's take a look at some setups here from the list here. I mentioned Aussie dollar on the sell side. I'm kind of interested in. We're getting a lot of dollar bullish calls right now, so I'm going to have to keep an eye open on that one. I'm still very bullish on the indices. As you can see, SPX 500. We haven't looked at that one. Let's take a quick look at SPX. SPX 500, take a look at the daily chart here quickly. Probably not quite ready for a buy, in my personal opinion. I'd be more interested at a retest of this level of support. I think this is probably a nice, you know, you've got this upward trajectory overall, similar to the NASDAQ. So I'd keep an eye on the SPX, but we're probably not quite at a level that I can take another buy. USDCAD also very bullish right now. Let's take a quick look at USDCAD. The USDCAD, pulling this one up. I mentioned this one actually on my Sunday video, guys. If you watch my Sunday videos, you know that I am looking for breakouts. I'm looking for continuation patterns. So USDCAD, I'd like to see a break of resistance. And if we do start to see that, a pullback could be kind of interesting. You'll notice I've got the fib drawn. It's because I'm looking to essentially see some sort of significant break, enough of a break that would actually make this level of resistance turn support, a potential fib level, right? That 38.2. So I'm looking for a breakout, pullback, continuation on USDCAD. That would be possibly an entry for me. So again, I also put pound USD as a setup to look out for. I'd like to take a look at pound USD as well. See if there's anything out there for us on GBP USD. And again, remember guys, if you're not inside of our Discord channel, the producers just dropped a link for you. If you do not already have our free Discord channel, what I'm looking at is genuinely free. We share ideas and trade setups throughout the week, myself and Frank. So if you are not already in there, click this link right here. It's in the YouTube chat. And if you're watching this stream, a lot of you guys watch the streams back at later points. If you'd like to join the Discord and you're not with us live and you don't see the live chat, feel free to also just click the links that are found in the description of this live stream as well. So yeah, make sure to join it. This week will be perfect for the Discord. We've got a lot of stuff to cover and a lot of news coming. So in a second, guys, we're going to bring in Ivan. He's going to come in and talk some setups. It'll be good to see him back as well. Ivan is one of our regular contributors to the A1 Trading Show, as well as one of our coaches within our Discord community. So he does coaching webinars throughout the week. So we'll meet Ivan in just a second. But before we do, we're going to take a really quick break to thank our sponsors. And then we're coming back with trading setups with Ivan. Check it out.
Attention A1 Trading Show fans. If you're interested in getting free access to the EDGEFINDER or our premium trade alerts, listen up. For a limited time, our show's partnered broker 8cap is giving out free access to our products when you sign up for a new trading account with them. If you already have a broker, you may want to consider switching to 8cap because of their low trading costs, a wide range of trading assets, and their amazing customer support. If you'd like to get access to our software and Discord server for free, click the link being dropped in the chat right now and ask one of our team members for more information. Don't miss your chance for free products and an award-winning broker. Now back to the A1 Trading Show.
All right, guys, and we are back with Ivan, and good to see you, Ivan. How are you?
I'm doing all right. And you?
I'm good. And it's been a little while since we've last spoken, so I'm glad to be back on the show with you, and wondering what you're looking at this week. Of course, we have CPI on Thursday, PPI on Friday, but this first half of the week is kind of quiet. How are you looking at setups this week, Ivan?
I was asked by chat to look at pound dollar. I'm still expecting bearishness on dollar, so everything comes down to the CPI later this week. So right now I would say that we are currently having a bullish reversal on pound dollar. So just need a new higher high. Could have probably have bought the pullback to 27.40, but it's a bit aggressive. But other than that, given that CPI is lower than expected, this one can take a turn higher.
Yeah, it's interesting just to see kind of the dollar this week is a real hot topic, right? Because of course you have CPI and as James mentioned as we got started on this show, expectations are actually for inflation to tick up, which should be very interesting to see how that plays into the narrative of whether or not the Fed will raise rates. So do you have a position open on pound USD? And if not, how do you plan to approach this one this week?
Oh, this is easy peasy lemon squeezy. Higher high, higher low, catch the pullback, back down to resistance turning support. There you go. Stop loss below that.
Enough.
Easy peasy lemon squeezy.
Yeah, no, I like that setup. I mean, I think if you're looking at pound USD, it'll be interesting to see that there's probably some correlation there with the indices. So in that case, if we get like a weaker CPI number than what is expected, certainly could be an interesting one to watch. Pound USD, plenty of counters to the dollar will obviously move a lot. You got SPX pulled up. Do you have any trades open? Is this a position for you right now?
Yes, sir. It's currently a losing position. But my stop loss is 44.50, I think it is. So I tried on Friday and I am in serious loss. But hey, what is it? $10? I just tried and then I will put my normal lot size on, but it's kind of like a dart more than anything else. And it's kind of not going great, but it is what it is.
Yeah, I'm kind of in the same spot. I mean, the indices, it seems like, a pullback here is still a pullback in my opinion until proven otherwise. I've got the NASDAQ pulled up similar to your S&P 500. For me, I mentioned this earlier, for NASDAQ, we're at support. And if we don't hold that support, I'm going to have to get out of the way, especially with CPI. But yeah, we'll see if it can hold. You've got SPX, I've got NAS100, and we'll have to watch that one to see what happens. I mean, what do you think, Ivan, with the CPI? Do you think it really impacts SPX one way or the other?
Absolutely. There is no doubt. And the funny thing is, it does opposite of dollar. So if CPI is lower than expected, then S&P 500 goes higher. And if it's higher than expected, then CPI, then SPX goes lower, because of, if we have higher than expected inflation, we will then have higher than expected financing costs, especially in tech.
Yep, obviously makes sense from a business perspective. Higher borrowing costs hurt companies, and so you have to be aware of that. So, Ivan, when you get these quiet times, heading into kind of the back half of this week, which is much more exciting, how do you approach this? Do you take setups during this time? Do you hold off? Walk us through, I guess, your process here. So that pound USD you mentioned, if that sets up, that's a possible trade scenario for you. You take that trade before CPI if it comes up to set up.
Yeah. There is no fear in me. And if I'm wrong, I'm wrong. Then fair enough, whatever. So what I want to say overall is a bullish trend. Now, we all have different techniques of how to find that, but I think we all can agree that we're currently quite bearish. So I need, on the 4 hour, a break of previous highs. So currently I don't have that. So right now I would say it is at the resistance to fall further, or it will be my first entry that I'm able to take. And I kind of, more than anything, would like to see, of course, everyone wants to see this bullishness, but if I'm gonna pinpoint of where we currently are, I would argue that we are kind of where that candle is, like somewhere in that direction. So I just need a higher high. I can even come back down to this lows for that matter. But I choose to take the aggressive one since that's the easiest one and most comfortable one for me. And then the target is more like, up here, back up to the previous high.
Yeah, no, I think the pound USD would be very interesting. And when you talk about it from the daily chart perspective, I've got the chart pulled up for the daily. You're right. I mean, it is a longer term bullish structure, right? You've got a longer term, higher lows, higher highs. And, Ivan, we talk about this often, but, 2022 with the dollar strength, it was a different market environment, right? This is 2022, right? The dollar was just so strong and the pound dropped to levels that I think it might have been an all-time low for the pound against the US dollar. But that was a very different environment than what we in. And when you really zoom out and when you look at the setting that we're in now, you have a much more sort of optimistic outlook than there was last year around this time. Last year around this time, there was no real signs of inflation cooling. There was, things happening that were making the market really fearful, right? More rate hikes, more rate hikes, more rate hikes with no kind of end in sight. Whereas now there is kind of an end in sight. Even if they do raise rates another time, sentiment is pretty much that we're nearing the end of the rate hike cycle. And an ending rate hike cycle means at some point the dollar bearishness could come in, and that dollar bearishness has and likely could continue to rally the pound on a longer term basis. Now, you mentioned in the shorter term, sellers seem to kind of be in control of this market, but sellers need to be aware that they are in a longer term uptrend and they've run a pretty good course here. So again, you're buying, or if you're trying to sell right now, you have to just be aware that on the higher time frames, you're selling into what probably would be considered a nice value area for longer term traders and investors. So what do you think? I mean, other than pound, anything else? You looking at euro at all?
I just want to point out quite something that I do always point out is that the end of this year, half a year that I call it 14th of June, which was the Fed meeting, we basically did a full circle or full rebound 4 days ago on Thursday, I think it is. So we are basically on Thursday hadn't done any change, just volatility in between in the summer. That's kind of how I would explain the summer, is that it generally doesn't move. If it trends, it does come back down to where it originally came from. And sure enough, it did. do that this year as well. When it comes to euro, I'm still like waiting for euro yen to do its thing. Meaning I need it to drop, I need it to fall. If this is the bottom, I'm probably not gonna grab it. But the other thing with euro dollar, I want this to be bullish, but I'm like, is this how bullishness is supposed to look like? And I remember saying, I don't know where I said it, probably on Friday, I needed to break higher high and higher low, or this is going to be the resistance on Friday. And sure enough, it ended up being the resistance. I'm like, what am I gonna do?
Yeah, right. Yeah, no, euro will be interesting as well this week. Pretty much everything against the dollar will move a lot. For those of you guys who are newer to trading, we know, a lot of new people watch these streams all the time. If you are new, the big news outlets that are happening this week are on Thursday and Friday. Both are inflation reports out of the United States. They will move the US dollar. They will also move lots of things, gold, silver, indices, right? SPX, NAS, whatever you're watching will move on those days. But Ivan, I asked you that question specifically. I am the same way when it comes to trading before news. But you have to understand, guys, trading before news does not mean, when I asked Ivan that, we're not talking about like 30 seconds before the news taking a big buy or a big sell. That is really, really dangerous and can get traders into a lot of trouble. Well, I asked Ivan that days in advance, would you be trading this certain setup? And he said yes, and I do the same thing, right? So if there's a setup, I will take it, even if I know news is a couple days out, but it's because we're swing traders. And as swing traders, inevitably you're going to hold positions during news sometimes. If you were getting out every single time there was news, you would just be a day trader, because again, you'd have to exit trades all the time. So thanks for clarifying that, Ivan. Is there anything else, Ivan, that you're watching here today? Anything else pressing for you?
Well, I just want to add, and the most important thing is that it doesn't shift our psychology. That if it goes against us and there is news and whatever, it doesn't really matter to me, and it doesn't to you either. So like, it doesn't shift us, it doesn't change us, because when you are inexperienced, you're like, well, that went wrong, and you do it again, oh, that went wrong, and then all of a sudden there's a creeping like, am I even a good trader? Because you keep losing. And I really, well, hate is not the word, but I really dislike when traders are not objective enough in their trading. Like, what kind of setups am I trading right now? For example, if I was to trade Aussie yen, for example, right now, am I in a good position to trade? And not really, because the fall started 200 pips ago ish. Is this a favorable place for me? Not really. It's kind of the end of it. And once you start categorizing your trades and be like, what is this opportunity? Like, I would say that in this fall, there should be opportunity here. So there should be a pullback there where there's not. So there is number 2, there is number 3, and that's the latest I can sell until it becomes too late. So people need to be very clear and confident, not overconfident, but just confident in what they're doing. And news is the fastest way to lose that confidence.
Yep. You have to be very, very careful. And again, you're going to catch yourself chasing your tail. If you're trading news, that is the exciting thing for new traders. They love to jump in and day trade NFP, and there's a lot of excitement there. But with that excitement, that's where usually people lose a ton of money. Am I saying you should never take trades anywhere near news? No, I do it all the time. I'm saying gambling on the release is very different than taking a swing trade before or perhaps after a major announcement. And again, when I say before, I probably leave a couple hours before, news, where I'm not taking any trades. I may manage my trade. I might move stops if I have something, or I may close out of a position if I really don't want to hold it. But again, I'm not, opposed, as Ivan has mentioned too. We're not opposed to taking trades. I wanted to show a quick chart here. This is the VIX. For those of you guys who do not use the VIX, whether you're a forex trader, a stock trader, currency trader, it doesn't matter. The VIX is a really cool indicator that I think everyone should keep on their watch list. The VIX shows it is essentially a volatility index for the markets. It's looking at the options market, especially. It's also looking, this is basically showing the expected volatility of the market. And so right now you can actually see that the VIX is up. So the volatility is expanding. We're seeing expectations for markets to be volatile here. And this would also kind of make sense. You have CPI on the horizon. Markets are also seeing earnings season right now, which causes a lot of volatility for, for the indices especially. So keep an eye on that sort of thing. I just wanted to show you guys that just an abnormally high level of volatility. I've got a Bollinger Band applied to this, essentially showing when these levels of volatility spike like this, usually, but not always, we usually see volatility start to quiet. So personally, I'll probably be looking to sell some options here today. In this volatility spike, that's usually when I like to do it. You get a lot of premium selling at these levels. So because everyone assumes that there's going to be volatility. So I'll probably be looking at some of that today. Ivan, anything else before we wrap up here? Anything else you're watching?
Well, I just want to tell my overall plan. So as a very short, I'm expecting yen pairs somewhere between 15th to 20th of August to have a low. So this can continue on for a couple of days, a week or so of range bound or bearishness. So I am not excited for this bearishness, but I'm waiting for bullishness somewhere in a 2 weeks time, and expecting that to last at least until mid-September. Quite rapid rising market. So we shall see if that happens again this year.
Yeah, fair enough. And again, this is why we bring on Ivan and we bring on all of our guests. It's always good to just kind of hear different people's thoughts, what they're watching. And you mentioned the yen pairs. Those are certainly ones to watch right now in the currency world. They've been exciting. They've been volatile. So if you catch a good swing there, they could certainly pay out very nicely. They can also cost you if you're not careful. So thanks for sharing that, Ivan. And I do want to say, if you guys are not, if you enjoyed Ivan's commentary, if this was helpful to you in any way, of course, first of all, make sure to subscribe and thumbs up the channel that you're watching on. But I also want to make sure you guys check out Ivan's channel. He does some live streaming there as well. If you want more commentary from Ivan, here is his channel. We just dropped it in the chat. Click this link. It will take you to Ivan's channel on YouTube. But then also, I just want to say, if you guys would like to get some private coaching with Ivan, that is something that he also offers. He's one of our mentors, one of our coaches within the Discord channel that we offer. And so if you would like more information about that, you can always find Ivan in the Discord. And I'm going to have the producers drop one more time the link to our Discord. If you would like to join the Discord channel, if you'd like to get in on the action, if you enjoyed this live stream and you want to keep getting updates and hear more from Ivan, myself, and Frank, please join our free Discord channel right here. Ivan, thank you for coming on the show. I appreciate your commentary as always. Good to have another session with you, and I'm sure we'll have another one coming up soon. Maybe we'll have you back on for CPI or something.
We'll see.
All right, maybe if we're blessed enough. Thank you for coming on, Ivan, and we'll catch up with you later.
Thank you.
All right. Yes, guys. So again, always good to have Ivan on the show, and good to be back on the show myself. It was awesome just to take a look at setups. Like I mentioned, for me, probably today I will be looking to sell some puts on silver. IWM. This is a Russell. I've been playing the Russell as well. Some interesting stuff going on. So I'll again, join the Discord. We'll be sharing updates and ideas. I am still long NASDAQ. I'd like to see if this thing can rally. If it does rally, awesome. If it doesn't, if it breaks this low, I'm out. I'm going to cut my trade for a loss and move on. But that is my game plan personally. I'm looking to sell some options for premium. I'm looking to trade the NASDAQ 100. I do also like some currency pair setups. I mentioned that Aussie dollar. That's probably top on my watch list as well for a possible sell this week. So I've got NASDAQ. I've got the Australian dollar. Those things I'm looking to trade, and then also, of course, I'm looking to sell some options, which I will be alerting very shortly inside of the Discord. I have several things that I'd like to go ahead and trade on the options side. If you just take a look at where I'm at positioned, I do have a couple options trades open right now. They're floating in some profit, which is nice. You can see I've essentially sold puts on the Russell. This is just the US index that tracks 2,000 stocks, mostly small and medium-sized companies. And so I've sold that here on my my broker here today. I didn't sell it today. I sold it last week, and they're going quite well. So we'll keep an eye on this. But again, updates will come out in the Discord channel. Join us inside of the free Discord if you have not already. And we will be back with you guys later. Thanks for coming on the show. We'll see you next time.
And that concludes today's show. Our goal at A1 Trading is to keep you up to date with the latest market coverage through our daily videos and articles. If you like our content, make sure to subscribe for more. You can get funded today up to $200K with FX2 funding. Use our code A1Trading15 for a special discount. From all of us at A1 Trading, have a great day, and we'll see you next time.